Hey, what's up, influencers? Thanks for tuning in today. This is a private video. It's unlisted and it's sent directly to some influencers that we feel like are key players in the Outdoor Vitals experience. Today, I'm going to be introducing a new product and giving you the chance to be a part of us launching it, giving you some exclusive content to deliver to your audiences, and just kind of giving you the inside scoop on something here. So we have worked pretty close with a designer, and we have developed something called a PackSteam, okay? A PackSteam. The pain point that we're trying to solve here is the pain of how expensive it is for outdoor food, basically. Right now, if you want to buy options or to be able to have more options on the trail for really good food that's easy to make and whatnot, you're really left with options like Mountain House. Mountain houses are good for a lot of people. Other people don't like them. Maybe they have strict diets. Other people really like them, but the problem is they're quite expensive. In fact, me and my wife did a trip down to Havasupai Falls in Arizona last year, down into the Grand Canyon. And for 3 days worth of a trip, and we ate Mountain Houses for every meal other than some snacks, we ended up spending about $110 for 3 days worth of food. And for most people, that's just not feasible. So we've developed a new solution that will allow you to be, one, more budget friendly, be able to make meals for in between $2 and maybe $4 if you want to eat like a king. It's still ultra light. All of the cleanup is still contained within its pack. And then also, if you do have people that are on strict diets, they'll be able to customize any kind of food. So if they're on a ketogenic diet, obviously a Mountain House is going to have way too many carbs for someone like that, and they would be able to use this system to customize their diet. So again, this is the PackSteam. Let's dive into it a little bit deeper. Okay, so the PackSteam itself is an insert. This is a piece of aluminum that's been iodized, so it's coated, so it's not going to turn color. And it's got some little stilts to go around the outside, 4 to be exact, and then it's an aluminum grate like this. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be placing this straight inside of your pot. And these are going to come in different sizes, so you can customize the fit to individual pots. And then you cook straight inside of a Ziploc, right? So a lot of you are probably going to say, oh, if you drop a Ziploc into here, it's obviously going to burn. But it's not, and this is why. What you do is you actually fill this with water, so it's 1/8 of an inch above the grid in here. And then as the heat comes up through this, the water is going to take all of that heat, disperse it evenly up and into the pot and into the bottom of this, so that there's not going to be any melting on the bottom. Now, a lot of people use a regular Ziploc bag, but we actually are going to be selling, for not much of a markup or anything, but to give people a little bit more peace of mind with this, a high temperature resealable bag. Okay, so a high temperature resealable bag, it's gonna be like 15, maybe 20 cents per bag, so pretty cheap. But what you would actually do is you'd take something like a rice, this cooks in 7 minutes, and then let's say we wanted to add some meat, so we grab a packet of chicken. This is a big packet of chicken, so this would feed 2 people at least. This costs about $2, this costs $1, so we'd be into this meal about $3. You'd mix these both into this Ziploc bag, and then you would fill this with water according to how much water is needed in your rice. Once that's in there, you seal the top almost all the way, you leave it a little bit open, and then you're going to drop that straight inside of this, on top of the PackSteam, and on top of the water that's covering the PackSteam. Then once you cook this, you're gonna cook this to a simmer. You'll let it simmer, and then typically the best way is to turn your pot off, let it sit for a few minutes, and then typically it's cooked by that point. If it's not, you'd turn your pot back on, kind of bring it up to a simmer again, turn it back off. You don't have to bring it to a boil. Most people do bring it to a boil or a light simmer. But what that does, though, is it allows you to cook your food fully contained in this Ziploc. There's no mess, there's no cleanup. All you're using is water. You can actually use this water again once it cools down. You could pour it back in, it stays clean. And then this is obviously going to contain all of your food. Some of the pros to doing this would be the fact that you can add your items, not necessarily the chicken unless you vacuum sealed it, which we will also be talking about as we move forward with this product. But you can actually portion out each of your meals into this Ziploc before you even leave your house. So whether you want to do a chicken enchilada like this, which you could probably break into 2 meals because it's quite large, or a rice-a-roni or something like this. You could actually break those all down into this plastic piece and portion out every single meal. Then you'd be adding your meat, which you've got chicken options or something like tuna. These are $1. Again, these are about $2. So you can see kind of how budget friendly this system is. So again, putting your food into the Ziploc with the needed water, you're dropping it into this on top of this grate in there that's going to have water filling it up. That's going to allow it to steam your food. So there is a reasonably popular cooking style called sous vide, which I don't think I pronounced that right. I think it's French, where they're cooking in the same style. We're just bringing this type of an idea of steaming our food to backpacking and making it extremely easy, because all you need is this piece right here. So price point on this, just so you know, we haven't finalized it. It's going to be somewhere between 20, which is what I'm aiming for, to 25 when we sell it. We are going to be launching this on a pre-sale, which is where you're going to be coming into play. So what we are hoping is that you will be a part of us launching this product. We're planning to launch this product on May 24th. We would like to get you one of these shipped to you, or a couple if you need them. And then we will have you test them, use them, film about it, and then publish a video within 2, possibly 3 days of when we launch this product on pre-sale. Now what it does for you is, 1, it gives you content for your videos, but 2, it's going to be quite exclusive content. It's insider content. It's going to let your audience know that you're on the inside with some of these companies, the new innovations. It's going to bring a lot of value to your channel. I know that when we release on our YouTube channel, even though our YouTube channel is fairly new and small compared to some of you guys, I know when we release products on our YouTube channel that are new and innovative, those videos do really, really well compared to others. So you would be a part of us launching this. It'd be exclusive content, and you would get to test this and see if you like it. Now, obviously, if we send this to you and you don't like it, and you have any concerns or anything like that, no worries. There's no obligations to do the video. We'd just like to get one of these in your hands and let you test it for yourself. Again, so let's go over some of the objections that people might have, and that would be possibly that cooking inside of this might have negative implications, right? Everything causes cancer in the state of California, from what I understand. So let's talk about that. From all the research that we've done, there's been no research that's been out there saying that you cannot cook in anything like this. In fact, this bag is actually FDA approved. It's microwavable. I mean, and it's high temp, right? So this is supposed to be a high temp Ziploc style bag, resealable bag. In my personal opinion, a lot of people still microwave in plastic and do those types of things, which again, this is microwave approved. To me, that's going to be way more volatile on a bag. Now, this is going to have a higher temperature rating than, say, a Ziploc bag, but a Ziploc actually melts at 250 degrees, and then it does soften, though, at 190. So I'm just giving you all the details to be totally transparent. So Ziploc softens about 190, and people say, or the naysayers might say that at 190, if it's softening, maybe there's output of something negative. So that's why we sourced the high temp bag, right? So this high temp bag shouldn't soften at 200. It's a thicker bag as well, and there should be no issues. Again, putting the water inside of here, it's never going to exceed 212 degrees. If you're higher up like us in Utah, water boils at about 200 degrees, I believe, and so it's not even going to get above 200. And if you're bringing it to a simmer or just heating up the water, if you really don't want to get it too hot, you'd be able to do that and avoid any negative connotation. So there, I just wanted to kind of confront that in case that is a concern. Okay, so at the very end of this video, I'm actually going to walk you through how to cook with this system and show you a little bit about that. But before I get to that, I just wanted to let you know once again what we're looking for. Again, we're looking for someone for influencers like yourself that we've worked with before to post a video within 2 days or so of us launching this product. In return, you'll get some exclusive content related to the PackSteam. Again, pros about this, it's super budget friendly. It takes meal price from Mountain House of around $8 down to as little as $2, or as customizable as you want it. So for those with really intense diets, paleo, ketogenic, things like that, they'll be able to customize any types of food that they want to into this Ziploc and be able to cook it. It's also ultra light, so this weighs in at about 1.5 ounces. It is aluminum that has been coated so that it won't turn color. But yeah, you'll be able to portion out your food. There's a lot of pros for those that are doing a little bit more extensive backpacking trips where they need to have dehydrated food with them. We think it's going to be an awesome product. We want you to be a part of it. And so if you are interested, simply send an email to support@OutdoorVitals. In the subject line, just put PackSteam. That's one word, PackSteam. And we'll get one of these sent out to you and let you get started trying it out. And then again, like I say, if you like it, then you can do the video and you can commit to that level for us. We really do appreciate our influencers. We plan to continue to have a very tight connection with our influencers, and we're possibly even looking at doing some really cool stuff like bringing influencers out to Utah that we work with quite a bit, maybe taking around some national parks or doing some really cool collaborations that way. So we really want to get influencers on board with us and to create relationships with you guys. So again, email us, support@OutdoorVitals, in the subject line, write PackSteam, and we will get you one of these sent out so you can start experimenting with it and see if you want to be a part of this product launch. All right, now, to end this video, we're actually just gonna go ahead and use the PackSteam and show you roughly how it works and give examples of that. What I'm going to be making, I'm actually gonna make this for one of my employees today because I have some lunch, is a Alfredo pasta, and then I'm gonna be using the Tyson sealed chicken right here. So we're gonna be adding those into the Ziploc bag with the PackSteam here and showing you roughly how to do that. The other thing though that I'm not gonna be showing you today is the fact that you can make all sorts of things in here, including you can bake in it. So you can make blueberry muffins, you can make pancakes, you can make whatever you want inside of this. To test the product out myself, I made some pancakes at home and they were amazing. I was really impressed with it. So it does open up some options like that. So let's go ahead and use this. So again, we're gonna take the PackSteam and drop that right down into the bottom. And then I have my water here. So I'm actually going to first use it inside of here so I know a little bit closer of how much water I'm using. So this requires about 2 cups of water, actually 1.5 cups of water and 1/2 cup of milk. We don't have milk, so we're not gonna worry about that. So I'm gonna pour this in here, and then I'm going to add the chicken. And I know from previous experience that this chicken has some water in it, so we're going to try to see roughly how much water we need to add after we get this entered in here. Now this is a ton of chicken for one person or one meal. It really is. So typically you could divide this up between 2 people and be just as fine. So it looks like there wasn't a whole lot of water in there, just a little bit. So we're going to add about 1.5 cups. Again, this asks for 2 cups. The chicken has a little bit of water in it. Plus with this, you typically want to use about 20% less water than you normally would. So we're going to add about 1.5 cups of water. Again, we're doing this just like on the trail. I'm not going to measure it. So right there's about 1 cup. And probably 1.5 cups, about right there. I'm going to take a spoon and mix this. I could mix it, or I can mix it a little bit with my hand. And that's actually the option I'm going to go for right now, especially while nothing's hot. So we're mixing this up a little bit. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to seal the top, all but about 1 inch of it. So there's still a little bit of breathing in there. We're going to push the excess air out, and you've got that. I'm going to set that aside for now. Now what I'm going to do is fill up the PackSteam itself. And again, we're going to fill this up. So you want to put this on something level, and then we're going to fill this up so that the water just completely covers the top of that grid, about 1/8 of an inch or more if you want to be extremely safe to cook. Now we'll just take this piece. We're going to drop this again straight right down inside of here and kind of tuck those in. You can try to keep them off the sides. It's not a big deal though at all. And drop that in, lock this on, and let this start cooking. So I'm going to turn this down just a little bit, and I'm going to let that cook until it comes to a simmer when I can see it starting to simmer or steam coming out of that, I'm gonna kick this off and let it cool down a little bit, and then I'm gonna fill the noodles inside and see if they're cooked all the way. If they're not, I'll repeat it. So I'll turn the camera back on at that point. All right, so a couple things to note here while this is cooking. If you put the water above the grate, especially if you do like 1/4 of an inch, as the Ziploc falls into the bottom of this, as it gets a little bit warmer, the water actually comes up and comes all the way around the Ziploc as well. It doesn't have to do that, but if you're putting in just that little bit of extra water, it does bring water all the way up to the top here to give it even more protection from melting or getting too hot or anything like that. Again, not necessary, but for those of you that want to stay cautious, it does do that. So you can see here, we're getting to the point where we're starting to see a little bit of steam come off. So I'm going to give this just a few more minutes. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to let this come up to a boil where I'm going to see more steam coming out, more of a simmer, a very, very light boil. I'm going to kick this off. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit, and I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to mix up the noodles inside of there a little bit more, and then I'm going to put it back on here and heat it up one more time for maybe another 30 to 60 seconds, and then let it cool off again. During that time, it doesn't have to be, the flame does not have to be on all the time because it is getting exceptionally hot in there, and the water will retain the heat, so the water will sit there and cook it even though the flame is not on. So typically bring it up to a boil, which looks like we've got now. I can feel it. You probably can't see it, but I can feel the boil coming in here. So I'm going to kick this off now, and I'm just going to go ahead and let that cool down for about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to stir it. I'm going to put it back in, and I'm going to let it get back up to a simmer and cool down one more time, and then the noodles should be completely cooked, and we'll be ready to eat our meal with no mess. All right, so we've now let this cool down a little bit from when it was at a simmer. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, set it right on this, down here where I can see it. And then I'm going to open up this bag and mix it with a spoon so that I can get those noodles moving around a little bit in the bottom. Again, I don't want this to drip anywhere, and you don't have to have it drip anywhere. You can simply leave it right here in the pot. I'm just pulling it out to show you. Move these noodles around just a little bit, and then I'm going to take one of them out with me here so I can see about how much more it needs to cook. Just set it there to cool down. I'm going to seal this back up. Again, we're kind of letting heat out when we do this, so I want to seal it back up, push that back down because it's still cooking. It's still plenty hot in there. I'm going to put this back on here, start up my flame again, and this time, because everything's so warm, I'll only need to let that cook for maybe 30 seconds to 60 seconds to get back warm and to start getting into that cooking level of temperature. So I'm just going to go ahead and taste this. Okay, so it still is a little bit chewy. It's definitely soft, but it's still a little bit chewy. So it's a good thing I put it back here on the flame, bring it back up to a boil again, or a simmer, and then I'll kick that back off and I'll leave it for about 5 minutes so it can cool all the way down. And during that time, it should finish cooking completely. So because there's only a little bit of water in the bottom, less than 1/2 inch, it doesn't take that much gas to bring this to a boil because you are only cooking about 1/2 inch of water total. That's all you're really heating up. I mean, obviously the bag inside of there is going to keep the water from heating up as fast as just if it was in there alone, but it does heat up quite fast, so you're not using a whole lot of gas either when you are cooking with this method. So a lot of pros to this. So let's give this about 30 to 60 seconds, and then we will turn it off, let it cook itself out, and I'll show you the finished product. In fact, it's maybe only been 30 seconds when I crank up this heater, because I do have fins on this, much like a jet boil, it's already come to a boil. So I'm just gonna turn this down to its absolute lowest setting. I'm gonna leave it at that for about 30 seconds. Again, this is not science. I mean, you're just cooking with water and whatnot, so it really doesn't matter that much if you overcook it, undercook it, or anything like that. You have some customization. So even on its lowest setting, we're still getting a decent boil or simmer. So I'm probably not gonna leave it on there too long. Again, I could actually leave this on a full boil the whole time and not have any issues at all with the plastic or anything like that. However, just to conserve fuel, what I like to do is heat it up to a boil and kick it off, and that'll make it so you don't need to pack something this big. You could carry the smallest canister of fuel and still cook plenty. So again, even on its lowest setting, we're still getting a boil. You can see that bouncing around a little bit. So I'll kick that off now. We'll wait about 5 minutes and we'll have a finished meal. Those noodles are all cooked. So one option that you can do is you can open this up. I just eat it like this, where it's partially around the pot, because I like to be able to seal all of my trash back in there while I'm on the trail. But there you go. Now you've got a way to cook food for a lot cheaper, still extremely clean, and it actually opens up a lot of options from baking to cooking and other type ventures. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, if you want to use this product, if you want to see if you want to help us on the launch, make sure to email support@outdoorvitals.com and put in there PackSteam, okay? So make sure that you include in your email any questions that you have, and also if we've worked out deals with you before, if your audience is extremely large and we've worked out different deals with you before, make sure to include that in the email. We'll open up that discussion about what we can do working with you. So thanks again for watching, guys. Again, this is Tayson from Outdoor Vitals. We will be selling the PackSteam. We're going to be releasing it on the pre-sale. We hope you'll be a part of that.